special emergency season 4 of the Green Noise podcast.
74,000 hectares of the Cedarburg burnt.
Life-threatening within about 30 seconds.
And what happens now?
A runaway fire is a different monster completely.
Green Noise podcast brought to you by Cape Nature. Welcome back to the Green Noise podcast, a Cape Nature podcast giving a voice to nature, biodiversity, ecotourism, and sustainability. My name is Dan Corder. I am delighted to be sitting here with two people who are far better dressed for the elements than I am. If you're listening and you're hearing some wind, it's been raining all day today. When we tried to talk about fires coming from historic droughts in the Cedarburg, it's been raining all day today, which is all extremely good news. I'm sitting here with Stephen Jackson and Clive Eiman from Leading Edge Aviation. Guys, you look warmer than me. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure being here.
So incredibly, Stephen, I interviewed your father like a year ago because you come from a family business. Tell us about Leading Edge Aviation.
So we got into the firefighting in 2006, just as I was leaving school. And yeah, my dad's been doing it ever since. I joined full-time in 2018 in the business and commenced as a co-pilot in the helicopter and now worked my way up from there.
So do you guys have like a fleet of helicopters?
We have 4 helicopters dedicated to firefighting.
And what kind of helicopters are there? I'm imagining like Black Hawk Down or something that Tom Cruise uses in Mission Impossible.
Yeah, we actually did use our Black Hawk for Mission Impossible.
Are you joking?
I think it's called Final Reckoning.
The one they just shot up north?
Yeah, that was actually used in the film.
I just want to tell you listening and watching, I did not know that in advance. That wasn't a setup. Like, I just got lucky there. They used that one in the movie.
Yeah, and the 2 Hueys at the time as well.
So did you guys watch the film and be like, that's our guys?
Yeah, we were the ones that finally captured them at the end.
But you guys weren't the ones flying the planes in this on set,
actually, I flew the Hawk with my brother on set.
Are you having me on?
No, legit.
That is absolutely fascinating. And Clive, as far as I understand, you've been at Leading Edge for a while, but you started as a ground firefighter. What's been your journey to get here?
I started at first at my first fire, 3 fires as a firefighter, and then I decided I need to get myself out here. There's UVs available, so once I got on my first flight, I decided not to look back.
And so when a fire, when there is a fire and a helicopter takes to the skies, what is your role? Are you on the chopper?
I'm on the chopper.
Okay, doing what exactly?
Well, obviously deploy the bucket, get out, deploy the bucket, and also check for obstacles if possible. Okay. For the next time the chopper comes back, make sure that the landing zone is secured.
Oh, from up in the helicopter?
No, for obviously we'll land.
I see.
And deploy the bucket, get out, and then also make secure the surrounding, the LZ for the helicopter.
I see. Okay. The bucket is the one thing that we all interact with. I'm a born and raised Cape Townian, and you see the guys coming down to refuel the bucket in different places. What is involved? Isn't it a huge bucket? Can you fit in it?
Oh, depends. On the Hawk's bucket is 2,500 liters. I can luckily fit in there. And the UV's bucket is 1,200, and I can also at least squeeze myself in there.
And when do you have to deploy the bucket, or are you involved in using the bucket also when you're over the flames, dropping it on the flames?
If I'm on the Hawk as a crewman, then obviously I'm in the chopper at the exact time while doing it, but in the UV I'm outside.
Okay,
on the ground.
So if you're on the Hawk, are you feeling the heat? Are you seeing the flames beneath you from high up in the chopper, and then are you actually pulling a lever or something to release the water?
No, unfortunately, that's the pilot in command is actually doing that.
Okay.
I'm just looking out for obstacles if I'm the Black Hawk.
So can you give me an example of some kind of obstacles that a chopper might hit? Or are you talking about like things flying through the air from the fire, or you're not that low?
If especially these power lines is also very obstacles. If a chopper lands and there's a rock and it lands on the rock, especially the UVs, then obviously the frame of the skid will get damaged, and then you have to replace it.
I see. Is it incredibly stressful up there in the helicopter?
Not really.
Not really.
We don't have a job. Actually, we're doing it as a passion, so obviously.
Get paid for your passion. That's cool. Did you find out that you had no fear of heights the first time you got on the chopper, or did you know before?
Actually, I knew before.
Okay. How did you know?
Well, I was walking years back. I grew up in the Northern Cape, half Northern Cape, half Cape Town. And I used to walk over the Orange River.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's amazing. Excellent. Okay, so Stephen, this is your family business. I actually interviewed your father a year ago. He did not tell me that he was involved with Tom Cruise, for which I'm now very upset. Lost a massive scoop then, but that is objectively extreme. Did you meet him, by the way?
I didn't actually get to meet him. Unfortunately, he was outside our helicopter. We didn't fly him himself. We flew the other actors in the back.
Okay, wow, that's epic.
We got to see him, and he does look good for his age. I tell you what,
he's in his 60s now or something.
It's impressive.
But as cool and celebrity superstar as that is, it's just for me personally not as important as fighting actual fires down in the Cederberg and surrounds. There were these devastating fires, like for a family like mine who's been in and around the Cederberg for nearly half a century. To see the pictures, my parents came and hiked the Cederberg in the last few weeks, and we in the drive-in, the landscape, it's unrecognizable. There's some parts where on one side of the road it's sand, on the other side of the road there's actually green vegetation, and the rest. You guys, Leading Edge, were actually called out twice to participate in trying to contain this specific fire. Can you tell me about those two times?
Yeah, so we one of our helicopters, the Black Hawk, in fact, is a provincial resource, so it can be drawn right across the province wherever it's needed. So there are resources in the Cederberg that are more localized, but that particular time they needed a little bit more punch, so they called us up, and we helped just west of Algeria to work with some ground teams, and that's kind of the secret behind the helicopters is you put down the water and you work with the teams. If you don't have a team with you following up, unfortunately then embers can reignite, and then you kind of back to square one. So yeah, it's a combination of aerial and ground that really is where things become effective.
How do you guys communicate?
There's an incident commander on the ground who normally has a what they call a VHF. It's like an air band, so they can speak to aircraft.
What's an air band? Is it like a signal that just goes out, and if your aircraft is tuned in?
It's a particular type of high frequency radio that is the same compatibility as what we got in the helicopters. So he'll then communicate what he needs done, and then we'll carry it out for him. Otherwise, you have sometimes a light aircraft known as a spotter that will circle above and also help to relay the message.
Oh, so part of your function is actually also looking up from above and providing information down to the guys on the ground. I mean, you are picking up useful information anyway.
Yeah, we only do the firefighting, our company particularly, but there are other companies that do these sort of recon work above.
I see. So where did you guys go scoop up water to bring it to the Cederberg mountain range by Algeria?
We used a farm dam when we were picking up here recently, but wherever the nearest water source is, you obviously try and stay away from grey water. You try and stay away from certain farms where they'll have drinking water capacity, and they request rather to use a second dam, which you unfortunately only find out after one or two scoops. But yeah, the buckets are pretty big, especially the Hawk bucket stands about 1 meter and a bit high. So it's got to be a deep enough water source for it to sink. You do get power fill buckets, which will fill in about a foot of water. It actually has a pump inside the bucket that pumps it full. However, it's the cost that those go out at, and locally, no one really supports that sort of.
Okay. So tell me about firefighting strategy, like how when the burns get this big and it's 40-degree heat and the wind is changing direction, because wind is ultimately the biggest power broker in fighting a fire. Like whether the wind is blowing one way or another, that must affect the way that you operate the helicopters, right?
So you often find when you pick up water, and you're going for your first drop. That first drop is actually often not always going to hit the target, not because you try and hit the target every time, but it's actually your first indication, okay, this is what the winds are doing, this is how much I have to lay off, because you have to actually drop the water sometimes 30, 40 meters to the left or the right of the fire line, and it'll drift in. And it'll vary depending on the height of the bucket above the ground. So that also is tricky if you got, like where we're sitting right now, there's some very dangerous obstacles. If a bucket strikes a rock, it's serious. It's like hitting an anchor. So if it's a tree, like Clive alluded to earlier, a dead tree is like a rock. It's just blunt. However, a growing tree green foliage. If a bucket does touch it, it's not normally that dangerous. Obviously, you try not to.
Is
But
the
yeah, you
goal
would
to
have
try and get as low as possible to the fire within safe limits?
Yeah, so if the wind is really blowing strong, you've got to then try and slow the helicopter down to drop slowly so that the water actually meets the ground and is concentrated. If you don't have that concern where it's flat ground, you can then carry your speed and bring the bucket in lower.
Also, I'm sure some fires are literally smokier than others. Like they were like it's hard to see what's going on.
Yeah, no,
Wild.
It's you definitely want to be keeping your eyes and your wits about you, and also always anticipating if the bucket's not going to let go. Now you got all this weight and you're carrying it uphill, for instance. You need to make sure you have the power available to climb away.
So, Clive, you've actually done ground forces and aerial firefighting, and so you kind of know the value of both the aerial and the ground forces. Am I right in saying that the ground forces need to do a lot of the finishing, putting out the firework, like after, like making sure, as you said, the embers need to be put out? Yeah, tell me about the role of the ground firefighters.
As a ground fighter, we normally do it, we call it mop-up. So after the chopper did a drop, the ground crew will go in and actually extinguish the fire or just move the stuff. The burnt stuff you'll put to the burnt side, and the unburned stuff you'll put to the unburned area, just to prevent the thing from standing up again.
So
because
how,
as soon as you pass it, now just imagine you went 200 meters ahead, now you must turn back because you didn't mop up properly at the back.
so how do you mop up properly? How do you put out all the embers or whatever? What are you actually doing?
What you're actually doing is you just divide the burnt area, the burnt stuff, and the unburnt area, and
So-
the unburnt stuff. So you actually just split them.
What, like with a broom?
No, it's called a rake actually.
What is it?
It's a rake and also a spade at the same time.
Oh, so you're like spreading out the coals like you would on a braai to weaken it all completely. Okay, so when you are on ground crew, are you ever worried that the guys in the air are going to drop water on you by accident?
No, actually we've been taught actually as soon as you can hear them coming, you go say 12 meters back and you lay down just to make sure that you don't get hit by it.
Because I can imagine that dropping water could be damaging, hey? Yeah. Could really hurt you.
Can honestly really hurt you.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, and you mentioned a little bit earlier that depending on which helicopter you're flying, you as a crewman might be on the helicopter or not. Can you explain that?
Okay, on the UE, since it's only one commander in charge, so there's only I'll rather get off and help with the rest. But on the Hawk, on the Black Hawk, I'm actually in as a crewman on board.
Why is that?
Okay, because while it's on the UE, actually what it actually does is, since the pilot in command is the only thing he must do is just focus on the flying, and that's it. He's actually doing both sides. He's look for the water, everything. Actually, it's more stressful for him than on the Black Hawk, because on the Black Hawk at least he's got a co-pilot. But in UE, he doesn't have. He must be sharp as a spoon.
Okay, but you don't need to be on the Huey.
No.
Okay, just on the Black Hawk because it's a bigger ship or a bigger helicopter to operate. Do you prefer to be on the ground or in the sky?
All depends on that day.
That's interesting. And you, Stephen, have co-piloted with your dad.
Yeah.
Is it weird when you're telling him what to do, or?
Yeah, so the Hawk is a multi-crew helicopter, so we always have a minimum of 2 pilots, and then we prefer to have the crewmen. So I found with flying with both my elder brother, and my dad being older, it's easy if they're the ones flying and I'm the one monitoring, co-pilot position in theory. It's when those roles are reversed that the challenges come.
Is there some backseat driving?
Yeah, you have to have a bit of a thick skin, and my skin's not always that thick. I'll
Are
be
they
honest.
chirping your helicopter flying in midair?
So yeah, it does get interesting. But the more we do it, the better we get at it. And I do enjoy it. I mean, it's very special. My dad's now 69 years old, and he's still got it for sure. And I enjoy that. I mean, one day I'm going to look back and be like,
that was really special.
yeah. So we enjoy it as it is. But yeah.
There must be an
unique.
enormous amount of pressure. Like when you see the destruction and the devastation, there must be an enormous amount of we have to get this right? Because if we don't, there'll be more devastation. Am I right?
That's where I guess the training comes in, where we train to carry out the roles very specifically, what the crewman needs to look for, how to get everything lined out, because it's there is a lot, and everybody is always very cognizant of the cost of the helicopters, and so you always bear that in mind, and so you're trying to do everything as smoothly as you can, and that's why we also have the crewman always there. He can get things done, get things organized, and when we're flying, he's in charge of the ground area, getting the fuel bowser in, and coordinating all of that.
So that's what I wanted to ask you about, Clive. So like when the call comes in that there is a fire, what's like first thing that happens?
First thing that happens, obviously you want to now find out where it is so you can pack whatever needs to be packed. And obviously since the chopper is ready already, you just climb in and there you go. And if you take a crew with, it's much better because obviously none of the choppers will have effect on a fire if there's no ground crew.
I see.
So we sometimes take ground firemen with us.
Oh, interesting.
And actually drop them off at the fire with us.
Okay. And once you've arrived and you have some scope of the fire, how do you plan that initial attack?
Okay, what we normally do is we'll fly over the fire to see what the fire is doing and what's going to happen, and we can tell if there's a crew on board, we tell them this is what we're going to do, and we're going to drop you there. And from there, you walk up to the line, and so be it.
And how do you prioritize where to attack? I'm sure with many fires, there are a bunch of different danger points, and you need to go, we actually need to deal with this first.
Okay, in case like that, there's normally the IC will tell us, leave everything, first focus on that.
Okay. What is the ICE?
Incident Commander.
Incident Commander.
Yeah.
It's a cool name. You get blessed with that. And then how do you go about an initial attack? Like, what is the strategy when you're taking on a fire?
I mean, that's when you're most effective, is when they call us early. So that when the Cedarburg fire, obviously, unfortunately, became very big. And then you just looking after strategic points.
What kinds of strategic points?
Like if there's a farmhouse that's at risk,
I
or
see.
there's someone's going to lose a bunch of their agricultural whatever it is, vineyards or things that are going to cost money and require insurance. Or if there's lives that's at risk, then you're going to step in and try and help.
Mm-hmm. It must have been super challenging in the Cedarburg. It's mountains, it's rocky terrain, it's uneven, there's valleys and the rest. Was it a particular challenge here?
You're limited. It's relatively high here, so the higher you go, the more the engines have to work. It's
altitude wise.
Yeah, and the heat actually takes your. Technically, the helicopter is flying at a much higher altitude because the heat combination of heat and altitude. You pretty much it would be like a. I don't know if you've ever come across high altitude training for athletes. They train at altitude, then they go to the sea level, and then they're exceptionally good.
Yes.
What happens with the helicopters, the higher you go, your engine capacity and performance degrades.
Oh, interesting.
So you got less power available,
Wow.
but yet you got to still carry out the roles. So you got to read the winds and play with the winds just like the birds do, and actually ride the winds like a surfer up, carry the water to the fire line.
It's like you guys are drifting.
Yeah, you literally do.
But it's a helicopter.
Yeah, you do that.
Wow, that's so
when you're limited on power, you really have to. And actually, the helicopters are most of the time limited on power because you're trying to carry as much water as you can to the fire line.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, we all know how exhausting it is to be a firefighter on the ground. But is there a physical toll as a crewman when you're on the chopper in the air like that?
Not really.
Not so much.
Not really. Actually, I must say, I have to take my hat off for the firefighters. I've been there. I know what they've gone through, and yeah, they actually got the toughest job between us.
Yeah, you load those guys up after the fire, and they are drenched and just full of soot,
exhausted. Yeah,
and we sort of tend to be more fatigued mentally. But it's not as strenuous.
Yeah, but you guys are also doing something super dangerous, right? Like you make a mistake and you're crashing and burning into the ground and maybe not living. So there are different kinds of pressures in each environment, I imagine.
So that's why you got to know the limits when you actually aren't being effective and you need to stand down because it's not too dangerous. Then you got to make those calls.
And obviously, we know about changing weather patterns. We know about climate change. We know how it particularly affects the Western Cape. It's particularly affected large cities like Cape Town, which nearly went day zero a handful of years ago. We know even on Cape Nature reserves and in Cape Nature locations, there are very significant weather changes that are affecting local flora, local fauna, and whatever. Have you guys noticed more call-outs in recent years? Have there been more fires recently than in longer memory that you guys have had?
So South Africa's got 2 fire seasons. We've got the winter and the summer season. And those seasons used to be about 4 months on the eastern side and 4 months on the west. And actually now it merges, where you've got aircraft still on standby in the east, which is in Mpumalanga, Limpopo. And at the same time, there's aircraft on duty on standby in the Western Cape. So that is an indication that things are changing. So we've got 7 months of work down here and 5 up there, of which there's overlap of at least 2 weeks each between each season. Sure. So it's quite something.
And has like wind and rain changed?
This February was a little bit strange to get some rain. The February fire season was actually relatively calm compared to what it was in January, and it started in the end of October with a bang. I mean, Khan Spy burnt really badly in October, and there was no resources around. So we actually sent 2 of our helicopters down early to help in the Overstrand area. So it is quite. I would say it is changing for sure.
So tell me a little bit about specifically coming to fight the Cederberg. Well, they were fires and they ran right through the festive, like over Christmas, well into New Year's. What do you remember about that exact firefighting experience?
Yeah, we had a call from dispatch to send us up to just help just to the north of Citrusdal. So yeah, we made the helicopter full because it's a little bit further for us to travel from Stellenbosch. And we arrived, landed right near the fire. It was the fire was bearing down on some farmlands just north of Citrusdal. And we attended to the fire. We spent probably about an hour and a half fighting the fire. It was actually a little bit scary because the incident commander was on the ground. And the fire it was obviously a very long fire line, and it was working its way up towards him. And he had a ground team that we were working with, and they were exceptional. We put down quite a few loads with them. But the fire was really hot. And because he couldn't actually see correctly how the fire was running, it actually started to make a bit of a flank, which means it starts to burn outside of itself and make a finger. And I was a bit nervous for him because if our bucket didn't work or if things weren't going to go accordingly, it can actually come towards him. And he was a long ways from his vehicle. When I say a long ways, he was 50 meters. So we warned him on the radio and said, look, this is our concern. In which he did move closer towards his vehicle. We managed to subdue the fire up to the point that we required fuel. And I actually drove in here today, and I saw that the line that we pulled actually remained, which is quite. I was quite happy to see.
That's
it was a success. Yeah,
that's amazing.
But yeah, I felt sorry for just the members of the public because we landed in Citrusdal. We shut down, waited for our fuel, and members of the public came up to us. And one of the guys has a tea business, and he forages wild teas in the Cederberg, and he was just. You could tell he was really distraught over the fact that now all of this is burnt and it's going to take so many years to germinate again. So, yeah, and at the same time, it makes me realize we have a really unique profession, and it's a real blessing to be able to help people that they need, whether it's the farmer or someone that might lose their home. Or just the beauty of the land, to be able to protect it means a lot. So,
which fire have you fought, Clive, that has scared you the most? Like when you faced it and you were like, "Yo, this is serious," and then you thought about it later, like, "Yo, I can't believe how hectic that was."
I think as a firefighter, actually, I was pulling a crew in. I think it was also the Cederberg. In the Cederberg area, it was years back, and that. Apparently the fire haven't burned there in 30 years. Luckily we had a guide with us, and he actually showed us that we need to go down there. And the fire was actually 30 meters long.
High.
High.
Yo.
And We were.
Were you on the ground?
I was on the ground. Now, just imagine you got 40 people in front of you. I'm at the back. I'm pulling the whole crew. So if someone is looking back, that means the next guy is losing 2 meters. I'm the next one 4 meters. So, and I'm at the back shouting. And we actually got into a pool. That day they called me Jesus walking on the water because I just wanted. And as we went out, I ran all the way. The one guy was still looking at the back, and he asked, "Why are you checking?" But we're checking for our crew leader. He said, "No, he's already passed us all." That's how scared I was.
Wow. Is it the feeling of like the fire will overwhelm us? It will catch us.
Yeah.
It'll like get around us and encircle us. Wow, that's very terrifying. But you guys were fine in the end.
Yeah, we all fine. And
Sure. That's extraordinary. And I want to end this interview with the big scoop from the beginning. How did you guys end up with helicopters good enough for a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie? How did that happen?
From what I understand, actually, we're going to be leasing the South African Air Force helicopters in for that film. And then at the last minute, it didn't work out. So they phoned us and said, "Do you really have a Black Hawk?" We said, "Yeah." And then they found out, well, we actually got the Black Hawk and the Hueys. And they said, "Well, we'll take all of them if they're available." And we said, "Well, that's fine, but there's only a small window of 2 weeks between the seasons where they're available." So they said, "Well, we'll make it work." And,
wow, they shot around your fire season schedule.
So, well, I don't know the full details, but
they
I know
rescheduled Tom Cruise for your schedule.
We only had those 2 weeks available for them.
Wow.
So they sprayed them green at our facility in Nelspruit, and then we flew down and shot the film in Drakensberg on our way to the Cape.
And how did you get these? How did you end up with these helicopters back in the day? Your dad.
By the grace of God.
Were they former combat helicopters?
All of them, yeah.
Have they got bullet holes in them still?
They all do, yeah.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Thank you so much to both of you, Clive and Stephen. This has been completely fascinating as a deeper understanding of the work that you guys and also the ground firefighters do to try and fight devastating fires, keep people safe, consider defending local flora and fauna, and making sure that different places across the Cape and across the country, different Cape nature accommodations are kept as safe as possible. And thank you so much to you for watching and listening to this episode of the Emergency Fire in the Cederberg Season 4 of Green Noise. My name is Dan Corder. Let us know what you thought of this episode on Cape Nature's social media.